Good morning, and welcome to another Monday Messages. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Rebecca, and I'm a holistic health coach and homeopath. And I use my skills to support you to be able to make the best choices for you so that you can sustain those choices and feel as healthy and as happy and productive and creative as you would like to feel. So my Monday messages are part of my commitment to that. And I just pop in here to kind of set a tone for the week, really, with a thought, a practice, a health tip, something that will help you to focus on making better choices, those better choices, and being able to know yourself better. So today I wanted to talk about boosting your immune system. And it's something that is very much in the forefront of all of our minds, I think, at the moment in particular. Particularly though this time of year, going into the colder and darker months of the year, is an excellent time to be thinking about boosting our immune systems. And before you rush off to the health food store and buy your vitamin C, I want you this week, I'm going to invite you to actually really make friends with your gut, to really understand how your gut works, what is working, what isn't working, and what you can do to help that. And the reason I want to talk about that is because your gut health is actually the foundation of your health. It's what governs our majority of our immune system. 80 to 90%, some people estimate, of our immune system is actually governed by our digestive tract. And so having that in balance and working to optimum levels is absolutely vital. Now, I think somebody's just joined me. I can't see who it is. If you want to say hello, for some reason, Facebook doesn't seem to be showing me who people are today. So yeah, do make yourself known, and I'm not being rude. I'm not ignoring you, and I'm really pleased that you're here. So yeah, talking about gut health as being the foundation stone for all of our physical health and our emotional health, actually. So looking at that and understanding how it works for you is a brilliant place to start when you're thinking about boosting your immune system. When we're talking about the digestive tract, or when I'm talking about the digestive tract, I'm talking about a long tube. Obviously it twists and turns, starts at your mouth, ends at your anus. It's a tube that actually, and this is kind of quite a weird concept to get your head around, it is actually outside of the bulk of your body. So we think of it as being inside of ourselves, and it is, but it's also separate from the rest of our body systems and our vital organs. And it is that way for very good reason, because it is the first line of defense to keep those internal organs, those vital organs and body systems that we need to function properly, working and protected from anything that might threaten it. So there are lots of jobs that the digestive tract does, but broadly speaking, they can be divided into two camps. The first is to obviously take in whatever we're putting into our bodies through our mouths, food, drink, whatever, and medicines, and to identify it and break it down into two sections, broadly speaking. This is kind of simplistic version of, but it's fine for today's purposes. What your gut has to decide is this substance available for me to use nutritionally, Will it help my body and my organs to be healthy and strong? Or is it actually not helpful at all, bit of rubbish, possibly potentially dangerous? So it puts it into two camps, basically. And obviously the latter camp has to then be eliminated from the body as fast and as efficiently as possible. And those are the two jobs of your digestive tract, if you like. Obviously, it's a lot more complex than that on the way, but broadly speaking, that's what it needs to do. So, first of all, if your body isn't able to do that efficiently, or it does it very, very slowly, then the potential for the pile of rubbish sitting around too long and therefore actually becoming a little bit toxic. It's like leaving your kitchen bin till it's overflowing and it starts to smell, it starts to break down, and you get maggots and all of those things in it. So we don't want that happening in our bodies, but unfortunately for a lot of us, that is exactly what's happening. So what I want you to do this week is to be able to ask yourself a set of questions which will then tell you how well is my body breaking food down and sending it to the correct places, and how well is it eliminating rubbish. And it's actually much easier to determine what your body's doing in terms of eliminating rubbish than whether it's actually working for you nutritionally. So that's what we're going to focus on today, basically, and that's what I'd like you to focus on if you're willing to. So I know for some people, kind of focusing on our rubbish disposal system, our bowels, and our kidneys that actually help eliminate liquids, is, it can be embarrassing. It can be something that you don't really want to talk about and you don't want to think about either. But if we're going to be healthy and we're going to take control of our health, then we do need to do that. I'm not asking you to share it with anyone else. You don't have to at all, except your health practitioner, because it's very, very useful information for any health practitioner. But first of all, this week, I want you to just think about it for yourself. So let's think. The first question to ask, I guess, is how regularly do you pass a stool? Do you have a bowel movement? Is it once a day? Is it once a week? Is it 4 times a day? Is it 4 times a week? What is it? Just be clear about what your routine is as far as that's concerned. And just be mindful of the fact that you are meant to be eliminating rubbish on a regular basis. We are meant to have at least 1 bowel movement daily, and I would say more than 1. And that bowel movement should happen easily, gently. There should be no pain, no straining, no excess wind, no bleeding, nothing that is uncomfortable. It should almost be, you don't even think about it. It just happens. So ask yourself about how that's happening for you. How regularly are your bowel movements happening, and how comfortable are they? And sometimes that can be the lead up to the bowel movements as well. If you have an excessive amount of wind and bloating that happens before you need to pass a stool, make a note of that. So at the moment, maybe just journal what you notice. The other digestive symptoms that can happen for people. How often do you feel that you are very bloated or very full of gas? Do you belch a lot? Do you burp a lot? Or do you pass wind from below a lot? Maybe that's every time you eat. Maybe it's nothing to do with when you eat. Maybe it's actually at other random times. For many women, the bowels can get very disrupted around a menstrual period. So that's a good thing to notice. So, and when I'm talking about these symptoms, I'm not talking about you having them once in a while and being able to identify them with a particular food. I'm talking about kind of on an ongoing basis. Although it is really good to notice which foods create those symptoms, and therefore, why you might be struggling with them. And then you know what to do. You can cut them out while you're repairing your gut. I do not believe that we all need to be on very restrictive diets forever, but it can be very, very useful while we are trying to repair our guts. So it's like, when we're ill, we don't ask ourselves to continue doing what we do on a daily basis with great energy. We take things away, we lighten the load. And that's the same with the digestive tract. If we've identified that we need to do a little bit of work with it and we need to build it up a bit and make it stronger and work better, then we need to lighten its jobs. We need to actually stop putting in the things that we know it's really struggling with. So that's one thing you could do straight away. Also, I would encourage you to think about emotionally. When do you feel emotions in your gut, anywhere in your gut? And we all do. Our language is full of references to, I had a gut feeling, or I had a gut instinct. And that's because our gut, as well as everything else, is populated with hormones and all sorts of chemicals that we attribute to our brain activity, but they're actually in our gut. There's a link between our emotions. If you think about the fight or flight mechanism or freeze mechanism, the adrenaline that rushes when we're frightened or we're fearful, that often can give us bowel changes. It can create very loose stools. It's meant to, because we're meant to be preparing our bodies to run or to fight. So we don't want to be full of rubbish, basically. So there is a physical effect from our emotions, and that often stems in the gut. So again, it's very important that the components of our gut are able to respond in an appropriate way to that stimulus. It's also, by the way, often why women experience bowel changes during a time of hormonal change. So just getting in touch with all of those things and understanding how your bowels and your digestive tract and your stomach and every bit of your digestive tract work for you. And then asking yourself, am I happy with it? Am I okay with the way it all works? Am I feeling good about the way that my bowels work? I find that there's a lot of misunderstanding about constipation, for example. People think of constipation a lot of the time as being, very, very hard stools that are really difficult and painful to pass. Yes, that can be how constipation manifests. It can also manifest as very loose stools, actually, because constipation is actually about not eliminating properly. So often when people have a bowel movement, it can seem like it's easy to pass, it's coming out, but it's not formed. It's perhaps leaving a bit of soreness. There are kind of spasms that happen in order for the bowel movement to pass. And there can also be a sensation of really not having cleared yourself out properly. That would be a very common symptom with people that I encounter. Ask yourself all those questions, form an opinion, form an assessment of how yours is working, and then ask yourself, well, what action steps could you take to really take control of it and to improve things? Sometimes if you've identified that, there are foods that give me wind or that maybe sit in my upper digestive tract a bit. They might make me feel like I've got a lump there, or they might repeat on me. Then obviously one of the things you can do is start cutting those foods out while you're making plans to do repair work. So yeah, think about what action steps you could take. What help could you get? And obviously that can be, if you come to me, for example, one of the very first things I will ask you about is your gut health, because it is the foundation of everything. And in order for you to be able to use any materials that you're putting in with a view to repairing your gut, we need to assess how low your gut health is or how high it is, and therefore what kind of levels of supplements, if you're choosing supplements as a repair method, can actually be tolerated by your gut and used effectively. So the three kind of main supplements that I would use, and this is, I must stress, this is all very individual, are probiotics. And probiotics, lots of people have heard of. They are the good gut flora that your body needs, your digestive tract needs, in a very particular balance in order to break down your food and make it accessible to you. So sometimes when we're repairing guts, after, let's say, I know most people know that antibiotics destroy your gut flora. They tip the balance of it. But also, so can a bad diet. Lots of processed food or foods that your gut is struggling with on a permanent basis can disrupt your gut flora the same as antibiotics can. Any kind of medication, any kind of pharmaceutical drug will upset your gut because your body has to process it. And depending on your individual makeup, that could be one lot of antibiotics. It could be several courses of antibiotics before it goes wrong, if you like. And it's the same with your diet. It's this in medication. I would include contraception, which many women don't think about. The oral contraceptive pill, the Mirena coil, all of those synthetic hormones are taken in by your body. They have to be digested and they have to be processed the same as everything else. And over time, they strain the balance of the gut flora. So if you think your gut isn't behaving terribly well, you might want to ask yourself, well, has it always been like that? Or can you pinpoint a time where that started? It started to go wrong a little bit, and just see, does it correlate to something that you may have started taking at that time or something you may have been doing? Prolonged stress can compromise the gut as well because of that adrenaline rush and all sorts of other things as well. So yeah, probiotics can be a brilliant tool to start addressing the gut flora. Word of caution though, do not do what most of the probiotics say and start with 2-3 probiotics daily. I would be much more cautious than that, and I would start with 1 capsule daily and work your way up. And if you get into any difficulties, if there are any kind of adverse effects that you're identifying, then just stop and maybe think about consulting a professional. The other thing that people use in the supplement world would be digestive enzymes. And they can be absolutely brilliant. They do what they say on the tin, basically. They help your gut to digest and break down food. So they're taken with meals, and they can make a massive difference to how effectively your food is broken down, whether it sits around too long. Excuse me. So often they're a better place to start, actually, than probiotics. And if your gut has assistance in doing its job, then it will have energy to spare to start repairing itself as well. And then the third in the trio, if you like, is something called L-glutamine. And this actually helps to rebuild the lining of your gut. Because if our guts have been out of balance for any length of time, the lining of the gut starts to break down. And instead of things just passing through as they're meant to, they start to leak directly into your blood supply. And that's when all sorts of things happen, like allergies and autoimmune diseases and Crohn's disease and ongoing chronic disease, basically. So obviously that's not a good thing. So we often, when we're rebuilding our guts, we want to strengthen up that gut lining. You can start to do this yourself if you want to, if you feel confident enough, if you feel knowledgeable enough about it. But I would suggest that you do get professional advice, and especially if you have an ongoing chronic gut problem, then I would not recommend that you do this on your own. But if you want any advice, any tips, you want to just talk about your gut health a bit further, then please do click on the link that I've posted with this video, and you can book yourself a free phone call with me, and I can help you identify what sort of help may be the best route for you with your gut health. But I would definitely start here if you're thinking about boosting your immune system. There is no point in taking handfuls of supplements if your gut can't use them. There's no point in even, adopting what you may perceive as a healthier diet if actually your gut is struggling to digest pretty much anything. So there's always a little bit of TLC that can be, an NCT, if you like, or an MOT if you're in the UK, that can be done on your gut. And then you can use very basic supplements like vitamin C and, zinc and things like that, just on a temporary basis to just boost things. But if there's anything else going on, then I would suggest that you come to a health practitioner. So I hope that's been useful for you this week. Do let me know how you get on. Let me know if you have any questions. And as I say, you can book yourself a free private one-to-one call if you'd like any further information on this. So I wish you all a happy gut health week, and do put something together, some kind of plan of action that will help you to boost your immune system and boost your ability to break down food, to digest it, and to eliminate the waste that comes from that process. Okay, thanks very much, and thank you so much for watching. I know there's a couple of people watching. You're very welcome. And of course, if you miss the live call, then you can always watch the replay. But whenever you do it, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.